Good morning there. Today we're going to be talking about the 6 different learning spaces. Learning spaces are ever-changing. They evolve as a result of research, social context, technology advances, and the individuals and groups who inhabit them. As educators, it must be one of our main goals to provide our students with innovative and dynamic learning spaces that support and encourage a love for learning. In terms of whole school environment, educators must consider how the form of their learning space will influence the learning of their students. There should be a sense of a continuality present in the learning spaces students inhabit as they progress from kindy to year 6 and onwards up to tertiary studies. This will allow students to learn to work effectively in their environment with their peers and teachers. The 6 learning spaces are personal, classroom and school, beyond the classroom, e-space, group, cooperative, and the liminal space. When we dive into these spaces, the key questions that we're going to be looking at are: what are the strengths and challenges we face as teachers? What are the strengths and challenges students face? And approaches, strategies, and resources to be considered when we try to redevelop and make it fresh and exciting for both the student and the teacher. Something that needs to be addressed when diving into each learning space is Albert Bandura's teaching self-efficiency. This is a key element when talking about the 6 spaces because it will have an importance in ensuring that the students will have a beneficial experience throughout this on a relative new take on education and how they approach life. It also lets the teachers remember what they're doing is teach. I'll let you. Personal learning space, what is it? According to Malcolm Knowles, self-directed learning is a process where students take it upon themselves to address their learning needs. Now, it is important to understand this is with help of us, educators, holding the responsibility to guide and instruct our students. As we all know, each of us have varied students with different learning capabilities within our class. Our first step in addressing self-direction can be following Gardner's 8 multiple intelligence. I'll let you look at the picture, see where you fall in these categories. Strengths in context with teachers. Having a clear direction for our own learning and learning of others. Having the knowledge on how to create long-life learners is a valuable asset that we really need to ensure that a teacher knows before going into a classroom. As a teacher, we need to meet all student needs. Incorporating Gardner's multiple intelligence. This can be very time-consuming as different tasks and assessment strategies will need to be adjusted to suit each individual. But if it's done correctly, the benefits are just amazing. The next 2 slides deal with the strengths and challenges that students face with their personal learning space. I'll let you read. A great way to find out what they do or don't know about their own personal learning space is to survey the students and staff. These 3 links are great free online resources to make surveys. I won't go too much into classroom and school learning space, but it's important to know that teacher-centric layouts are no longer favoured, with a growing shift toward classrooms that contain dynamic and interesting learning stations as opposed to a static, never-changing design. The next 4 slides contain the strengths and challenges in context with the teachers and students. I'm going to have to let you pause on them because this video will go for too long. Redeveloping the learning space of the classroom can be used as an open classroom. Here's an example in the picture, how it is spread out rather than just clustered in as most of the classrooms are today. Beyond the school learning space. It is, of course, excursions and incursions what we're talking about. Excursions offer sensory learning opportunities. That is to say, students explore the environment using a variety of senses to make better sense of what they are experiencing. New South Wales Department of Education and Communities have put these procedures on the slide to protect students and teachers. The next 4 slides contain the strengths and challenges in context with the teachers and students. I'm going to have to let you pause on them because this video will go for too long. These 5 links of excursions to places are great for the child's social and emotional development that go hand in hand with curricular outcomes, which I think are just fantastic. The next learning space is the E-space. What is it? Well, E-space involves all technology used throughout a classroom. It can be any of the listed provided. The next 4 slides contain the strengths and challenges in context with the teachers and students. I'm going to have to let you pause on them because this video will go for too long. A great resource that I think that needs to be used in a classroom today is Edmedo. It can be used to connect yourself and students both at home and in the classroom. For example, having set educational and interactive games posted daily that students can access during class, free time, or at home. Parents can get connected with what their students are learning, creating a positive environment within the classroom. Teachers' e-space, something that needs to be addressed, is what the internet has. These 3 links are online communities, which has teachers regularly posting about information and connecting with others from around the world. It is very amazing what technology has become. Group, collaborative, and cooperative learning space. These learning styles are quite successful because they allow students to see that their peers see things differently, and that each individual has their own strengths and weaknesses. In terms of learning space, by allowing students to sit at tables organised in a social manner, or by developing open learning spaces, it allows students to encourage to discuss and collaborate with their peers to reach their learning goals. The next 4 slides contain the strengths and challenges in context with the teachers and students. I'm going to have to let you pause on them because this video will go for too long. Approaches, strategies, and resources to be considered when redeveloping this space. Open plan learning spaces help encourage cooperation and collaboration, as students are not bound to one area. They can move around between tasks, use technology, and work in small groups with their peers, all whilst under the supervision of 1 or more classroom teachers. I believe this is a very key in creating and exploring the social and emotional growing as a person. Our final space, the liminal. The liminal space is creating for the space between comfortability knowing and the unknown. It can be described as the in-between part A and point B. There's some defining terms for you to help you understand. The next 4 slides contain the strengths and challenges in context with the teachers and students. I'm going to have to let you pause on them because this video will go for too long. Some approaches when taking and redeveloping the liminal space. According to Bailey, 2010, liminal learning is the transformation and the openness of learners willing to accommodate alternative expression of meaning. Teachers must then accommodate the teaching changes and process this new change to the students in the simplest form. Students will suffer difficulty through change, however. As educators, understanding the process and how best to facilitate is thus essential to our work. Again, if a teacher is struggling with what liminal space is, they can go onto those 3 online resources I talked about earlier. They are on the screen again.